I have been planning on paper for a long time. 15 years, dozens of notebooks, and hundreds of spreads filled with my life's details. In that time, I've tried bullet journals, decorative scrapbooks, commonplace notebooks, and everything in between. And I have learned what truly works and what's just a distraction. I spent years figuring out myself that planning doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. It just needs to work with your brain instead of against it. Today, I'm going rapid fire through the most valuable lessons I've learned from my planning journey, the shortcuts I wish someone had given me years ago. Whether you're a planning veteran or just getting started, these practical tips will help you create a system that actually sticks. First up, keep a pocket notebook always. This tiny notebook goes everywhere with me. It's my external brain for capturing random thoughts, tasks, and ideas. It makes writing things down accessible and easy because it's so small and easy to carry. When I have paper on me, I never lose a thought. Break down tasks until they feel easy. If a task feels really mentally hard, chances are it's not a task at all, it's a project. Projects are multiple steps bundled together. So when you come across a task that feels complicated, keep breaking it down until it doesn't require decision making to start. Look up tailoring shops in my area is a lot more actionable than get clothes tailored, for example. Use progress bars instead of habit trackers. Maybe this is a personal one, but traditional habit trackers have never worked for me, which leads me to feeling discouraged whenever I set them up. Instead, I use progress bars. This helps me visualize advancement toward completion. Here's how I've been tracking a writing project I'm working on. This progress bar does show I'm slightly behind, but this approach really celebrates progress rather than perfection, which helps me feel a lot less discouraged. Master mind mapping for difficult thinking. When you're stuck, use structured thinking tools. The Eisenhower matrix for prioritization, a what worked, what didn't work exercise for reflection, and brain dumps for overwhelm. These are all powerful tools. I keep these templates ready to go whenever I need clarity. I talk about this a lot more in my Thinking on Paper video, which I'll leave linked up in the cards. Blank notebooks are your best friend. Before investing in expensive planners, experiment with blank notebooks to test different layouts. This can be as simple as like a 99-cent spiral-bound notebook or whatever you have lying around. For example, I used a sterling ink notebook I had on hand as an experimentation notebook this year, where I tested different daily layouts for a full month before committing to my current planner. This saved me a lot of money in abandoned planners and helped me discover what actually worked for my brain. Document your distractions. I developed the distraction method to track what pulled me away from my priorities each day. In this monthly spread, I note with green pen what most distracted me from the stuff I was supposed to be working on. This creates awareness patterns and also provides perfect data for performance reviews or conversations that are naturally going to happen with your boss or with yourself about what's keeping you from completing your workload. Every single day, find your one most important task. Be brutally realistic about what you can accomplish. Each morning, I identify one non-negotiable task that would make the day successful even if nothing else gets done. What do you think, Coffee? I think she agrees. I think her one most important task today was derailing this video. Goodbye. Write this important task down prominently and then do it first. This guarantees that the most important thing is done and out of the way for the rest of the day, and there's no chance for it to loom over you. Witness yourself without judgment. Devote a small section of your planner to simply witnessing your emotions and thoughts. I like to use stickers to express my feelings, but you can also journal or take a note. This mindfulness practice actually helps you recognize patterns and build self-awareness over time. Planning starts to become not just about the doing, but also about understanding yourself better. Plan in your breaks. If you don't schedule breaks, your body will take them for you, usually at the worst possible times. I always get sick when I'm on deadline for something, especially if I don't make sure to take enough breaks during that stressful time. Add like a 15-minute buffer after meetings and block lunch breaks in daily, especially the lunch breaks. I always try to make a note at least when I'm taking my lunch. Rest is not a reward for productivity, it's actually a prerequisite. Apply the 5-minute rule. When procrastinating, commit to just 5 minutes of work. It's hard to commit to cleaning the bathroom for an indefinite amount of time, but 5 minutes of wiping things down is way easier to commit to. I'll often write things down on my to-do list like do X for 5 minutes, and then I'll set a timer. But once I start, momentum often carries me well beyond the 5 minutes. And even if it doesn't, those 5-minute chunks add up to real progress over time, so I'm still making progress. Identify your energy cycles and then stick to them. Track your energy patterns across different time frames, so like seasonal, monthly, even daily. I've tracked mine enough to know that I need to plan my most demanding tasks during the high energy period I have in the morning and the more chill tasks during the low energy times in the afternoon. I have a whole video about this, which I will leave linked in the cards, but trust me, planning against your natural rhythms is an uphill battle that you don't need to fight. Plan realistic ideal weeks. Every once in a while, set aside some time to design your ideal week by first mapping out non-negotiable commitments, then deliberately scheduling 3 to 5 priority areas in the remaining spaces. You'll learn a lot about what you do and don't have space for. Here's my ideal weekly template. Notice how I've left white space for flexibility and planned in my most important rest, like my sleep and breaks. How you spend your days becomes how you spend your life, so having a compass like this is really helpful. I want to hop in here and thank this week's sponsor, Suvie. Suvie is a smart countertop oven and meal delivery service, providing balanced meals without any cooking, prepping, or stress. All you do is load the meal, tap the recipe card to the appliance, and then just choose what time you want your food to be ready. Here is the amazing part. Once your meal is loaded, Suvie will safely refrigerate and then automatically cook it to be ready at the time specified. So you can set up dinner in the morning and go about your day. You can even change the meal time from your phone. You can choose from over 50 chef-created meals with new options added each week. My boyfriend and I had one of their meals last night, and I had an extra hour to myself because cooking and cleanup was basically handled. The kitchen robot itself is also really cool. It fits on the counter and has 15 cook modes, including air fry and slow cook, so I can use it to quickly cook my own meals too. If this sounds up your alley, check out the link in my description for Suvie's 100-day risk-free trial. Thanks again to Suvie for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the video. Make the time to look back at your old planners. These are treasure troves of self-knowledge. So set calendar reminders every once in a while to review past planners for guidance or just for fun. I've learned so much more about myself from reviewing old planners than from any productivity book. They show you your actual patterns, not your imagined ones and not somebody else's. And more importantly, they help you appreciate your growth and your accomplishments. Every once in a while, try the 1 pen test. I cannot get enough of this tip. I talk about it all the time. Use just 1 pen to create all your spreads for a defined period of time, like a week or a month. This is gonna force you to focus on function first. You'll be amazed at how quickly you become creative within this constraint, but most importantly, this is going to help you discover what additional elements you actually want to add back into your planning that are actually useful to you. If you do the 1 pen test for a week and find yourself really missing your highlighters but not missing your washi tape, then you just have more information about what is truly useful to your planning process. Create a minimum viable planner. Identify the 1 to 2 planning elements you absolutely cannot live without. For me right now, it's a daily spread. When life gets chaotic, strip down to just these essentials. Having this minimum viable system prevents you from abandoning planning altogether during busy times. Paper is for thinking, digital is for storing. We live in a hybrid world, so we might as well embrace it. I use paper for active thinking, processing, and daily planning, but my digital system stores reference materials and long-term projects. This hybrid approach gives you the cognitive benefits of handwriting with the searchability and performance of digital tools. Don't force yourself to choose one over the other because you're going to end up using both, and you might as well use them in the right way. Value flexibility over perfection. Choose tools that give you as many options as possible instead of limiting yourself with highly specific planners, spreads, or stationery products. Undated planners are actually such a great example of this. They eliminate guilt when you inevitably miss days or weeks and allow for flexible usage patterns over time. My undated common planner has actually enabled me to try new systems and learn new things along the way, which has been really awesome. Your planner should adapt to your life, not the other way around, so use those flexible tools that give you that wiggle room. Reframe failure as a fact-finding mission. When your planning system breaks down, and trust me, it will, treat it as data collection, not as failure. I used to beat myself up when I abandoned planners mid-year. Now I ask, what did I learn about what works for me? Each failure is actually a step towards your ideal system. So write it down. What worked, what didn't, and what will I try next? Along the same lines, remember that relapse is totally normal. Everyone falls off the planning wagon sometimes. The difference between people who make planning stick and those who don't is that the people who stick with it expect relapse and then have a simple restart procedure. Mine is just a basic brain dump. It always gets me back in the mood to plan. So don't restart with your most complex setup. Simplify and rebuild momentum. Planning is a habit, not a hobby. While decoration in planners is fun, effective planning is really about consistent habits. Set specific times to plan. I do a check-in every morning that takes me about 15 minutes and a longer weekly reset on Sundays. Put these in your calendar as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. Consistency beats perfection every time. And lastly, there is no perfect planner. Stop searching for the magical planner that will fix everything. I spent years hunting for the perfect system, but here is the truth. The perfect planner doesn't exist. What matters is finding something that works for your brain, not against it. The best planner is the one you'll actually use consistently. Focus on making the tools you have work for you instead of constantly chasing the next shiny object. And remember, planning isn't about perfection or aesthetics. It's about creating a system that gives your brain the support it needs. And if you take just one thing away from this video, let it be this. The best planner isn't the prettiest or the most expensive. It's the one you'll actually use consistently. Okay, which of these lessons resonated most with you? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear if you're implementing any of these ideas or if you have your own planning wisdom to share. If you liked this video, you will like my video on how to think on paper, which I will leave right here on the screen next to my head for your viewing pleasure. Thank you so much for watching, for being subscribed, for being awesome. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.